dumpster fire. But part of that's because they ran the ball so much, which when I was watching that, I'm like, what am I looking at here? Like, Andy Reid never does this, right? Like, why is he doing this? And I almost think it was part of it's like, oh, Suamataia is going to get exposed. Like, we got to limit how many times he's got to throw that kick step out there on Hendrickson, because he, and I keep bringing out, like, everybody, like, everyone's like, oh, they're just running it right down their throat. And I'm like, they are, and they're down 7-0.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they are, and their tie was at 3-3. I can't remember. I forgot how it started. Anyway, point was, they never separated. Like, even with as effective as they were running the ball, they weren't getting away from them, which is what happens when you have to run the ball to win. I get it when teams that don't have a great quarterback run the ball, because it's like, listen, the only way we're going to beat the Chiefs, we're going to have to get a defensive score. We're going to have to get a special team score. In the meantime, we got to not give the game away with our offense, and we got to limit the touches for Patrick Mahomes. I understand why they do that, but this team has Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
They invested in the offense. It's not supposed to need to protect the offense with, complementary football. Usually it's the offense would gear down to give the defense a break. And so I was kind of like this. Don't you think Andy Reid felt icky calling all those run plays in a row?
There was some evidence from the week before that, the Patriots had run all over the Bengals, and the Bengals were playing, back to prevent the deep ball.
Listen,
but yeah, in general, Andy Reid doesn't want to do that. Now, maybe the final straw for him was, I'll give Kingsley credit, that was one of the greatest holding penalties in the history of holding.
On the touchdown?
The holding call where he just absolutely bear hugged him and then took him to the ground. I mean, it was like an instructional film on how to hold. I mean, it was awesome.
I listen. Were the Chiefs fortuitous? Were they fortunate? Was that a fortunate call? I bristle at those on a big picture, on a macro level, in the sense that the Chiefs win all these close games all the time, so that's what they do. But on a micro level, yes. I mean, they did need a defensive score. Like, they were in trouble at that point, and they get a defensive score. That was giant. And they settle for a 51-yard field goal.
Right.
They settled for a 51-yard field goal to win it. And Bucker might be that freaking good.
He's money, but still, it's 51. The Augusta win can come up. It may not even be on him. You can botch the snap. There's all kinds of things that can happen. So, it kind of reminded me of, going way back, it reminded me of the Bills settled for a 47-yard field goal in the Super Bowl for Norwood because he was so good. That was when 47 was probably more like 57 now.
Yeah. 47 was like, oh, this is a maybe. Now 47 is like money. I just listen, if they go down and lay an egg at Atlanta and they kind of do a nice job of spitting the bit. Last year they didn't. They lost all the important people and had no tiebreakers. But most years they pretty much handle business against their AFC folks. Mm-hmm. And then if they're going to dump in their hat, it's against the NFC. So I'm kind of expecting the Chiefs by 10 points in this game. But if they go down there and end up in some sloppy game and lose, it won't stun me because I've seen it before. And I think we will view this team really different. Then people will be, like, I will be flooded with calls about how they were lucky to beat Baltimore. They were lucky to beat Cincinnati. This is the real Chiefs that just lost to the Falcons. This is a game that I think could do them some good for their psyche, to, like, let's go beat somebody up. Right, the Falcons are expected to be a good team. They just had a national win against a team that is good, the Philadelphia Eagles. Despite all their drama, they're a good team, and they beat them. So now let's go beat them up. If they come back with that, if they go 27-17, which was my pick this morning on our podcast for the game, if they win 27-17 and come home, I'll feel like, okay. And especially if Baltimore and Cincinnati go win, right, and put a win next to their – then we'll feel a lot better. But, man, if they lose – there's going to be some, not panic, but there's going to be a lot of anger.
Yeah, there's one stat that I looked up, and maybe it's mitigated because it won't be at full strength. But in Patrick Mahomes' career as a Chief, there have been 8 times he's gone on the road after having a game in which his passer rating was below 80. In those 8 games, the Chiefs are 7-1, and his average passer rating is 110. So this is like the spot where he goes on the road and goes, all right, this one's on me. Now, being down a starting running back and not having a full complement of wide receivers may change that. But this is the spot where he generally rises to the occasion.
Yeah, and I do want to get in that I don't, this isn't important because he may never play significant downs for the Chiefs. I don't even know, but I don't quite understand Kareem Hunt. Why?
Oh, you're echoing the sentiment of Sam McDowell, and I think Andy Reid opened the door to why it's a possibility when he said, well, he had a sports hernia last year. I mean, because Sam McDowell said, listen, there is nothing mathematically about what you see. The football card numbers or the analytics that say that this guy has anything left in the tank. But if you think he was hurt, then okay.
I just mean it seems to me like that he's in a heap with 20 other guys who are out on the street. Why pick him?
Yeah.
I mean, why? Because they do like to, on draft day, still run out that character stuff and everything. And clearly, this is just another example of we don't care. We said goodbye to him. Now it's all fine because we need a running back. But it's not a special running back. It's just a guy who's out of the league. It was mystifying to me.
We'll take a break. We'll talk a little bit about the colleges this weekend. Danny Clinkscale's with us. He's brought to you by our friends at Easton Roofing. Whether it's your home or your business, Easton Roofing has you covered. No payment collected until you're 100% satisfied. Work in the entire metro area. That includes Lawrence and Topeka. You can find them online at eastonroofing.com.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
Hey Kansas City, Joe Spiker, Easton Roofing, back for another beautiful springtime in Kansas City. We are proud to announce our renewed partnership with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kansas City. Starting in 2024, a portion of every job sold will be donated to a cause close to my heart. I was a big, and I encourage you to volunteer. And if you hire us for service on your residential or commercial roof, you'll know that a portion of the profits will go to a great cause. So call us at 913-257-5426. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
Well, Danny Unleashed here on a Friday, brought to you by Easton Roofing. Find them online at eastonroofing.com. A portion of all their jobs goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters, giving back to the community. Locally owned and operated, that's Easton Roofing. Another great KC company, Pay More, 8933 West 135th Street. All the local ones here are locally owned and operated. Pay More, part of a bigger company where they buy and sell old electronics. Have people coming in with a big overhead projector, a big some DVDs have come in. Your old electronics are just sitting around wasting space. Get cash for old electronics. If it doesn't have any value, they'll still take it and responsibly recycle it, wiping any kind of information off of it. Military grade wiping of all the software. Danny Clinkscale with us here in the program. Danny, K-State. I know KU West Virginia is the tighter game by point spread, but the game with the most meaning. BYU's undefeated, K-State's undefeated, and I think it's a trap game for the Cats. Coming off of Arizona, looking ahead to Oklahoma State, I think this is a dangerous game for the Cats.
I think it's a very dangerous game for the Cats, but if they are thinking about it as in any way a trap game, I think it's just a tough game. I mean, BYU's played well. This is a tough place to play. K-State has had some trouble in road games as a favorite recently, 1-4 in their last 5 road games where they've been the favorite. It's 9:30 at night. It's 8:30 at night there. It's not even like, it's a West Coast game in real time or whatever. There's a lot of challenges there. So I think it's just a tough game. And if they're looking ahead or behind at all, then I think they'll lose. So I think it's a very tough game, and I think it will be a feather in the cap type win. I think it's tough to go to Provo, and they look like they're a little bit better this year.
Yeah, I think they are better. I think they're better. I don't think they're going to finish last, and we even said that. I just don't see BYU finishing last in this conference. But I also don't think the quality of opponents haven't been the highest. I think if K-State brings the wood, then I think they'll win this game and they'll cover the number. That's what I think will happen. I think they are the better team, and BYU can be better than people thought. But and I like what I see out of K-State. I love what they did defensively against Arizona because Arizona's got some pieces on that side of the ball. Mm-hmm. But I still would like to see more out of the passing game. I think a little bit of the, the wins are maybe covering up some missed balls downfield.
And also, they had a punt return touchdown last week that kind of got them fueled. Now that's a K-State staple, but so I look for this to be a dogfight. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good game. I expect to be up at midnight, and the game's going to be in the balance. That's what I expect.
Yeah, 24 offensive points, and they gave up 39 to New Mexico. Right, so K-State likes to run the ball and grind the clock and all those kind of things, but. That was a little bit concerning. I think the Jayhawks win at West Virginia. I think this is where they kind of start to get right a little bit. I like them against West Virginia. Do you?
I'm in coin toss mode right now with the Jayhawks. I think they have a lot of things that are swirling around in their head. Should we run the football more? I think if they'd run the football more the last 2 games, they probably would have won. And also, I don't know where West Virginia's mindset is. They let a big win for them get away last week. They're up with 4 minutes to go, and they let the game slide away against a rival. So if they're engaged, I think this is going to be an all-day sucker, but they may be just in disappointment mode. There won't be anybody in the stands at the start of the game at 11 o'clock. So I think this is a total mindset game. Whichever coach can get his team's mindset right, I think has a chance to win, but I think it's going to be tough.
Danny, you're the man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Klingscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like Easton Roofing, where integrity matters. Joe Spiker and his team are the best in the business for all your roofing needs, handled with honesty and craftsmanship. Visit them at eastonroofing.com.